Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. My name is Yolanda Givens, and I am the host, your voice, the person that is representing the community, and hopefully being able to bring in some information and resources to you all. Let me first give a shout out to the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, an organization that has been serving the Chicago community for 20 plus years. This organization has a long history and a great legacy. If you don't know about them, please check them out at their website at georgiadotyhealth.org. I always like to begin the show with giving a shout out to the founder and the CEO, Mr. Don Doty, and his wife, Miss Joyce. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Doty. And just really thank him for his vision, his direction, and for continuing a legacy that his mom actually started tons and tons of years ago. Check out the organization. They are doing great things. They've been doing great things. I am honored that they've allowed me to be a part of the organization and on this platform as the host. Let me also give a shout out to our executive producer for this show, Rochester Bailey, the founder and CEO of Diggler Film TV, because this is a task, y'all. So we're going to get started. We are here today to talk about housing and housing in general, housing as it relates to our health, housing as it relates to our community, and talking about housing in the midst of this pandemic and why this topic is of importance. Well, many reasons. So we're going to talk about it today. I am going to introduce and bring in our guests. Miss Mary Jones. Mary is the founder and CEO of Agora Community Services. She has been serving the community of Chicago, the city of Chicago, for many, many years. And she is our expert here today to provide us with some information, much needed information about housing. So welcome, Miss
Thank
Mary.
you. I'm so honored to be here.
I am so honored to have you. Miss Mary actually also serves on the board of Georgia Doty. So she is a very busy lady. So the fact that she's taking the time out to be here and share with us some resources and information, some tips. Housing is important. We gotta live somewhere. We gotta live somewhere. So I am first. We're gonna, before we get into the conversation, allow Miss Mary to tell us a little bit about herself.
Well, thank you so very much. I am just honored to be here, invited to be on Georgia Doty Report on Health, because that is a big issue in life. My name again is Mary Jones, and I have um, been concerned about housing as far back as I can possibly remember. It's all I've ever done. So you know where the passion is. The passion is providing information and strategies that allow people to retain home, get home, build financial capacities.
Let me turn out feedback. I'm just trying to share this, you guys. Just give me a second. So we're gonna get right in. Whoa, my second guest is here. Yes. Well, before we start the conversation, let me introduce.
Lots of technology can be a great thing, but sometimes not. Okay. Oh my God.
I completely understand. Hey, you guys, this is Kim Jackson. She is the owner and managing director of CP2 LLC, an expert also in housing and real estate and all that good stuff. So I'm going to allow her to give us a tidbit about her, and then we'll jump into this conversation about housing.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name again is Kim Jackson, and I am the managing director and founder of CP2 LLC, which is spinoff from the initial organization I had, which was called Community Pro Partners. And basically, having worked in the real estate industry for the last 25 years in 3 states, developed over 1,000 units of housing, some for sale, for sale, some rental, using all kinds of funding sources to make sure that they're affordable for people to actually purchase or live in. Those are the things that I've been working on for the last 25 years. And now, starting my own business, I'm able to do that everywhere. And that's exciting because I love making sure that people have beautiful environments, number one, that they can afford. And I think that's so key for our communities to be served with beautiful places to live, them feel healthy and happy about where they live. So when they start their day, they have a great start because they have a pleasant place to live, a beautiful place to live that they can afford.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, how wonderful do I feel to be here on this show today with these two beautiful Black women that are business women in their own right, and being able to share resources with the community just warms my heart even more. Everything I'm about is about women empowerment and doing something and helping our community. But let's get right into it. I've had tons of people ask me about what this conversation is going to be about. I'm sure people have tons of questions. Um, and even prior to the pandemic, just about housing
Yeah.
and where we live and why we should live there and purchasing and rental, all of those things. So I want to first start off with a question about since this platform is connected to comprehensive health, what role does housing play as it relates to the health of our community? And either of
Um,
you jump in.
well, I can definitely say, as I mentioned before, I've seen it time and time again where families that don't have a place to lay their head or a stable place to lay their head, um, it really impacts every inch of your being. You
Mhm.
can't function if you don't know where you're going to come home to, or if your lights are going to be on, or, if something's going to be in your way, drama on the block, or whatever is going on. Um, it impacts your every fiber of being. And it really sets the tone for how you do in school,
Mhm.
how you tackle obstacles with a work environment, those types of things. So housing and health are so key, and if you don't have that key piece and component under control and actually stable, then you see our communities and how um, unhealthy things can be.
Right. 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 Miss Mary, you want to add anything to that?
Of course, just a tidbit, because you said it all right there. Health is so um, important. And again, like Kim stated, you can't function unless you know you have some place to lay your head, rest, recuperate, then you can take on the world. But not having home, and it doesn't matter whether it's a homeowner, renter,
Yeah.
or wherever you call home, it's a place where you can refresh and regroup and then go out and tackle the jobs, tackle the children, tackle everything else that we need to tackle. So without home, I don't know what else could be more important.
Right. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get to it. I want to know, and I'm sure you guys, I can't imagine what you must have encountered, as we all have encountered a lot with this pandemic. But how have you seen? What have you seen? What has the impact been on people and on the community as it relates to housing as a result of the pandemic? Either one.
Okay, well, I'll lead this time.
Yeah.
Well, one thing has been an increased amount of fear
Mm,
and anguish. And of course, that takes us right back to health
right.
because you're only concerned about knowing that you can keep your home or apartment or whatever, and everything else kind of goes by the wayside. So I see an extremely larger number of people coming in with health issues
Right.
that
Right.
are trying to stay in their homes, and their health is not, they're not giving any attention to their health, not
Right.
as much as they should.
Right. 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 And what about you, Kim? Have you seen anything? Um, has there been even an impact on your business?
Well, again, having done this work for 30 years, I've been in and out of not such a deep pandemic as now, but there have been ebbs and flows with situations in our country that have impacted housing.
Right.
Um, I think that unfortunately, what is happening now is developers and investors and home potential homeowners
Mm-hmm.
are really afraid. And so when that fear steps in, then it slows down the production of housing. And
Right.
that's not what we need right now.
Okay.
We need for housing to continue. We have a lot of making up to do on
Mm-hmm.
the loss of housing in this city.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need for the housing creation and the number of units to continue to increase. So that's the part that I have definitely seen change.
Mm-hmm.
There is the city, and everyone else is still focused on the pandemic, and that's where all of the focus is. And rightfully so, because you have so many families either with mortgages
Mm-hmm.
or that are renters that can't afford to pay their rent right now.
Right.
So you have to take care of those that are in trouble that way. But at the same time, you can't lose sight, though, that we still in this city have lost a lot of units in our neighborhoods on the south and west sides. And we need to make sure and ensure that the production of those units, creation of those units continues.
Okay. Okay. Right. 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 So are people moving? Are they buying right now?
Oh, absolutely, they are buying.
Okay.
And so much so that you can't even put a house or a two flat on the market and it's gone within a.
Really?
Oh yes. Oh
Is
yeah.
is that because I have prices dropped
No.
or
Actually, they've increased. um and that's crazy, right? I think everybody thought that this was going to be another uh downturn in the economy.
Mhm,
And so again, the fear of that um, created two things. It created a reduction in interest rates on mortgages,
mhm.
and it also increased the requirements for a mortgage. So
Okay.
you needed a 620 credit score before, they bumped it up to 660.
Mhm.
So then, there's a scarcity of availability of high quality home buyers. But those that are, they have they have opportunity, and so they're taking advantage of it because the interest rates are so low.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's a positive.
it is
No.
a positive. It is a positive. And I'll talk a little bit about the other positive as well later.
Okay. Okay. So what about renting? Are people, are landlords or owners allowing people to move in right now? Are they charging them more? Are they afraid, to allow new people in their places? What's going on as it relates to the rental piece of it?
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that. I don't do rentals. I don't sell houses, actually. I like to create them. But for friends and family, I will do it. And so I had a friend who was moving in town, and sure enough, she is renting an apartment that was reduced by $500 a month because the owner was afraid that he would not get anybody in that unit and it would sit.
Mhm.
So now there's incentives depending on where you are because they're thinking that people are not going to move, especially now. It's August, end of August. People usually move during the summer months. So
Mhm.
if you're going to move and you have a decent rental history, then now is the time to really take advantage of some opportunities out there. But yeah, so rents are going down.
Oh wow. Okay. And what have you seen, Miss Mary?
On rental and um, anyone looking to purchase,
Mhm.
I've seen that rentals are still concerned because there's such a large number of renters that are unemployed,
Mhm.
and there's that fear again.
Mhm.
So, coming up with a strategy for homeowners and for renters to ride out the crisis
Mhm.
and end up housed is the task. Those that can buy, yes, they're doing it.
Mhm.
Those that can rent, yes, they're doing it.
Okay.
But we are looking at a large number of people that may be challenged, and that's kind of where my niche is.
Okay.
It's allowing helping people to be able to create a strategy for themselves that would say, here I am right now. Where is it I want to be or need to be? And what is a strategic plan for me to get there? And there has to be something. We just can't sit and wait. Matter of fact, what I constantly do is think back to what we went through the last housing and economic crisis and learn from that. Whatever we didn't focus on then, we need to focus on it now, because unless something really does change, um, it's going to be a tier down, where spiral that says I'm not employed and I'm okay because I got unemployment. I'm current on my mortgage and my rent, but now that's gone. So now what? So are we spending our money wisely?
Mhm.
Do we have that strategic plan? Do we know even what a crisis budget is? Because whenever there's a proposed crisis coming, or when a crisis looks like it's going to hit, we're supposed to put ourselves in crisis mode. And
Right.
with the last housing crisis, we didn't do that. So
Right.
that's what we do, is help people understand what is a budget and what is a crisis budget and how to manage it.
Okay. Which is important. And I know it's been tons of conversation about management and budgeting and preparing for, even though who can prepare for something that just yeah, unknown, but being prepared financially is important across the board, regardless to what's going on. So, of course, everybody that's watching want to know. Um, what are the resources? Is there assistance for both the renter and the homeowner, because of the pandemic? What assistance is available for those who really can't afford to pay their mortgage right now, but also can't afford to lose or even want to lose their home? And for those families, those that are renters, and that are have, even though I know people talk about you got the unemployment and it was extra, but you don't know anyone's situation or whether or not that was really enough. So what type of resources and assistance is available for folks? And either one of you can start.
So I shared a little bit about that earlier with you, Yolanda.
Hmm.
One of the things that I am really trying to get this information out as quickly as possible
Okay.
for IDA, which is the state housing
Okay.
development association, has two programs for rental and mortgage relief.
Okay.
there's a real quick deadline for the rental, which is on the 28th of August.
Okay.
So they really need to get on the bandwagon and apply online. It's really simple. And basically, and maybe Mary could probably give more details about this than I can. But it's really simple. And basically, the check goes to the landlord.
Okay.
So that would resolve your concern, and the landlord would probably be relieved to know a check
Right.
is on the way. So
Right.
that is definitely something to for those renters out there that need help. That definitely is one avenue. And then same thing for mortgage holders. They have a little more time.
Mhm.
I think the deadline for them is September the 4th.
Mhm.
We need to make sure, and if you can post the links to the websites for both of those, at least that way they'll have that information to apply. And I know that the city had some information, but I don't have that in front of me.
Okay. So I'm gonna let Mary add to that. I want people to understand because I think a lot of people also think there is rental assistance. I don't know how many people are aware that there's assistance for homeowners
Yeah.
as well. So I just want you viewers to have heard Kim say that there's also assistance to help with that mortgage. So Mary,
Yeah,
you probably can add a little bit to that.
I can add a little bit. Well, and clarity and information is a must, because
Mhm.
one thing we don't want people to do is do something thinking that it's going to end up a certain way and they're not doing anything else. We want them
Right.
to stay proactive. Do
Right.
not just rely on one thing.
Yes.
So, with the grants, there's such a thing attached to both of them, the mortgage and the renter, that's called guidelines. So, you've
Okay.
got to meet the guidelines. So, we've tried to make it very simple and very easy,
Mhm.
because if someone applies and they do not get accepted with the grant, then that's not the end. And that's very,
Okay. That's
very
good to know.
important. It is not the end. There is still help to for them to maintain their housing through the housing advising. HUD, I am a HUD certified housing counselor. Been doing this since 2009. And one thing that we're charged to do is make sure that people have a clear and accurate understanding. So, one of the guidelines I just have to throw out there for both the mortgage and the renters is
Okay.
that if you were behind in your mortgage as
Mhm.
of March 1st, already behind, then
Mhm.
you will not be eligible for the grant. This grant is specifically for those that, because of COVID, lost
Okay.
employment and got
Okay.
behind in their mortgage and their rent.
Okay.
Now, there's going to be, and I believe this with my whole heart, there will be other things that will be coming down the pike to help
Mhm.
those that are struggling, because
Mhm.
I see people constantly and I know that people are struggling. They're not paying anything else, or they cannot do the rehab or repairs on their homes. So they're focusing on paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing is that understanding first what the guidelines are for both of the grants is very important, because they've got the guidelines, and if you don't meet one of them, you will not be eligible for the grant. So Agora created a tool that they just answer the questions. If they can say yes, 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 then they are eligible. If they miss one, then we're able to now just step right in and encourage them and make sure that everything that can be done based on their specific circumstances, because we think outside the box too. We don't stay in a box. We, because of HUD, are equipped to help people look at their story, their circumstances, and find that information that will help them to continue and not suffer homelessness,
Okay.
keeping them from being homeless. And collaborating is a big part of that. So it is not over. If no one else hears anything else I say, the grant is not the beginning and the end of all. It really isn't. It is a
Okay.
help,
Okay.
but we have to stay focused on the fact that it is temporal and it has to be combined with a strategy. Once you become current, then what? What are
Right.
you doing? There
Right.
has to be a plan, and
Right.
we're here to help them achieve that.
Right. Right. Okay. So I have a viewer asking for what's the website? What is the website for that? I have the viewers asking what's the website for
I'm sorry.
For Ida,
yes.
okay, I will have to send that to you again.
Okay.
I
Okay.
had it pulled up and
Okay,
unfortunately,
I have it.
Okay.
good.
What is the website?
It's EMA
Mm-hmm.
dot
Mm-hmm.
IDA, IHDA dot
Mm-hmm.
org. Now, EMA is the mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay.
ERA dot IDA dot org is the rental. So you're going to two separate websites in order to apply.
So it's what's the one for the housing? Oh, there you go.
EMA for
And it's
mortgage. EMA,
ERA.
Emergency
Okay.
Housing Assistance, Homeowner
Okay.
Assistance.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
there's ERA, Emergency Rental Assistance, ERA dot
Got it.
IDA
Okay.
dot
Got it.
org.
Hey, this is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. Today, we're talking about housing assistance and resources during this pandemic. So we're just getting the information. Hopefully, that this information is going to be helpful to someone. We know that it is so housing is important. So what else is going on? What else do you ladies have to share? We heard there are resources connected to the pandemic. I think folks do need to understand that your inability to pay for these particular grants and funding sources have to be directly connected to the loss of job or a situation related to the pandemic. You may not be eligible if you were behind prior to the onset of this pandemic, and that there are tons of resources, not just for renters, but for homeowners. And Mary mentioned, I hadn't even thought about that from a homeowner perspective. Like, not only you got to pay your mortgage, but as a homeowner, you also, if the plumbing goes out or the roof goes out, and if you ain't got no money to pay your mortgage, how you gonna get the plumbing or the roof done or whatever happens in the home? Because that's, as a homeowner, that's your responsibility. And this is not the end of the end all. It is believed that more resources and more opportunities will come. But I want to allow you guys, and we'll start with Miss Kim, just to talk about other resources and opportunities as it relates to housing across the board, whether it's rental or home ownership or real estate. Or I know you mentioned about a real estate boot camp coming up, because in and talking about the pandemic and the challenges and the struggles, we also want to give folks a light of hope.
Yeah.
We want to help them see that when this is over, that they still have something, and that there's something there for them. And I want to give both of you ladies the opportunity to share some of that piece to our viewers. We'll start with you, Miss Kim. What you got going on?
So, as a business owner, the pandemic really hit me hard as far as moving things forward, as I spoke about earlier, but also uh, personally. I felt like when we had the riots, the first round of looting,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that was really a big burden for me was the fact that we needed to help our African American owned businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, I'm a West Sider. And so, um, really just trying to figure out who is on the west side, African
Mhm.
people that look like me,
Mhm.
that are business owners that do what I do.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there were a handful.
Mhm.
And I currently reside, my office is here in the West. I'm sorry, the South Loop.
Mhm.
And I just could not sit idly by and not do something about businesses on the West Side.
Mhm.
So what I did was identified an office space on the West Side. And actually, in the next 2 weeks, we're relocating to the West Side.
Oh, wow.
And so, what I
Jesus.
really want to see happen is we need to stop looking for others to solve our problems. And one of the big things that we know we have is a housing issue. We
Mm.
do have a housing issue. We have a housing deficit issue
Mhm.
where there are not enough housing to purchase or rent.
Mhm.
And so, who
Mhm.
better than to make sure that we have what we need is us.
Right.
And so that's why I am really in the beginning stages of formulating a real estate business boot camp.
Love it.
That we need to start giving the tools
Mhm.
to these, once the renters and these homeowners come out of this scenario, which will happen before you know it, we will be on the other side of this. I believe it with all my heart.
That's
And
good.
so when we're on the other side of that, after all the dust settles, we don't need to look back and realize that somebody else bought the house next door, across the
Mhm.
street, down the
Right.
street, around the corner, and
Right.
now
Right.
making it their home.
Right.
We need to be proactive about that.
Absolutely.
So that is my charge these days, is to
Okay.
ensure that we are positioned to own our own. And even if we're renters, we still should have a say in that. We
Mhm.
should be able to choose where we want to live,
Mhm.
be able to have a beautiful place to live. And like I said before, the environment needs to really be something that helps to help us to shore up our community, shore up our families. We need that. We need them to be healthy and whole. So this is an opportunity to do that, and it starts with us, and it
Absolutely.
starts one block at a time.
Absolutely. I love that. You're absolutely correct. Sometimes, if not all the time, we have to look at the other side with a different mindset. We have to shift our mindset to what positive can come out of this. And if your family, your neighborhood, your community, you want your neighborhood to come out on top. To come out better, if at all possible. And it's just it's great to know that people like yourself and Mary, there are tools and information, and this is part of the having this show, because so often we don't know who know,
Mm.
and this is the opportunity to get some of this information, as much information as possible out to the community, to our people, because all of this is related to our health. And we don't have our health, what's the point? What's the
Listen,
point of it?
you're, you are. I feel like it helps when you know this is your home.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to your mental health? What does
Mm-hmm.
that do to your family? What
Mm-hmm.
does that do for your legacy?
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely evolves from the home. The home is definitely key.
Absolutely. I could definitely share a story, but I'm gonna let Miss Mary share some of her information, some of her resources, and just feed us with what you have, Miss Mary.
Well, I mean, this has been so awesome. With these two sides, the end product, the housing itself, the
Mhm.
product is so important to be able to afford it, but and then also to be able to understand that you're ready and you are on a path to home ownership. You're on a
Mhm.
path to being able to retain or obtain a rental unit. You're on a path to being able to just have a room. So
Right.
whatever it is that you need is what we try to give the information necessary. So what we're doing at Agora is, of course, we're still remote. So every day at 3:30, people can go to www.agoraservices.org and they can go to housing questions, housing answers,
Oh, good.
because if we can nip it in the bud, then
Ab-
they can get the information and ask the questions specifically to
mm,
them. It comes to our housing advisors, and we're able to maybe get them on a path that will allow them to be able to get a resolution to whatever their housing question is. So if it's pertaining to I'm in a forbearance, what do I do if I'm in a
mhm,
forbearance?
yeah,
So
yeah.
every Thursday at 3:30, I'm sorry, every day at 3:30, we're on a webinar, and they can also dial in and just listen, or they can ask questions, and they can listen to others and learn from those questions, because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. So on and also, if they have any questions concerning the application for this grant also provides people that have hearing problems. There's a phone number. We make sure that they have the information that can help them not um, take advantage of what's available. So they can do that any day during the week. Now on Saturdays at 3:30, also they can go to www.agoraservices.org and they can do the same thing. They can be on a webinar, which means they can see our screen. We show
Mhm.
them things that they can do. How do I fill out different forms on the computer that I might need to do? Because we know what Earth 2 is now. It's going to be more and more things online. So we
Mhm.
want to help people be comfortable with
Right.
doing some things online. And we also, as a HUD certified housing counselor, our partners, who is HUD, Home Free USA, Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, um, Citibank, and Chase, all have given us technical and financial assistance in order to do this. So we're able to help people fill out those applications. If they need that assistance, we're able to help them to fill out other applications that they may need to do right now, because what? The offices are closed.
Right.
City offices, state offices, federal offices. But guess what? They still need to apply for whatever it is they need to apply for. So we're here to lend that hand so that they know that they will be safe going online and doing whatever they need to do, and have the assistance there to make sure that they do it correctly. If they're not filling out or understand a question on an application, it could be the difference between getting that grant or getting that application approved. So we want to help people understand that there is help. You don't have to go it alone. Don't be worried about the computer. I know you not don't know anything about this Zoom and Zoom and all these other things out here, but we're here to help you make it through that. So that's every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. And every day at 3:30, we have housing advisors on the line ready to answer any questions that you have about housing.
So that y'all heard it. Did you hear it? You can ask any questions. They don't even have to see your face. Any question
No.
that you have about housing every single day at 3:30, you can dial in, log in, tune in, and ask the questions that you may have. And
And
I
may I
think
add, and connecting them to those that we're collaborating with. because we need to collaborate with those that have the housing, that have the homes, that have the rental units, because our clients go through a rigorous counseling and we do not let them go. We continue their counseling 6 months into their rental because we want to make sure they succeed. So they're required. Anyone we give an information or a referral to, they continue the counseling with us, and they are happy to do it.
Wow. You said the word help. It
Yes.
is so important for us to know that there is help, that there are resources, there is assistance, and there are people like the two of you collaborating together and willing to do their part, share their expertise. I want to say, like, kind of get down and dirty and pull you in. Um, because we just don't seek it, and we do have to learn to seek it out. And I do understand that if you don't know, you don't know. So it is so important that we get these messages out, that we get the information about, there is help, even because you're right. If you don't feel the application out right, it's a wrap. You gonna come back and be like, oh my God, I meant to say. So why try to do it solo when there are people out there that can help you make sure that you do the process and do it correctly. I love this idea of this real estate business boot camp. Um, is there a charge for that? Um,
So the real estate business boot camp will be free and it will be online. So that hopefully will help everyone get started. To me, we need to seed our people.
oh my goodness.
Our people.
Did you guys hear that? And even if there is a cost, at some
It was
point in
worth
our
it
lives, we have to learn how to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I did
in
not
our
actually,
community.
I didn't know it was free. I was just gonna say we need to invest in ourselves. But here we have it: free
Yes.
help,
Yeah.
free resources, free opportunities.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh,
get
did I
it.
say our services are free?
Free
I
help.
missed that.
All these services and resources are free. I think that this conversation about housing is so very important because you're right. Um, it's having a place to come home to is so important for ourselves, for our spouses, for our children, and everything we do, for doing well in school, doing well on the job, all those different reasons why it's important to have housing that we're comfortable with, we feel safe, um and just understanding the business aspect of it, and all the opportunities, and that it's okay to be a renter, but that there is opportunity for you to own a home.
Yes.
There is opportunity for you to be a business owner in the area of real estate and housing. How better to help our community across the board as it relates to help, if we are able to have more say so in what our housing looks like in our community. So very important.
We have to have a seat at the table.
We have to have absolutely a seat at the table. In Chicago and the South and West Side, it's so important to have ladies such as yourself that are out there being advocates for what we're doing. I know we're running out of time, and I want to announce a couple of events that's coming up. But before we do that, and I know you guys have already shared so much information, and hopefully people, whatever they missed, we're going to make sure that we put it out there and they follow up, and that they have your information. Make sure that they have your information to be able to reach out to you any question you want to ask about housing. A real estate business boot camp, it's free. E-services are free. It just don't get no better than that. I want to have the two of you to give final words. Give our viewers each. We're gonna start with Kim. What are the last words you have for our viewers tonight?
Again, we are in this with you. We are in this together. We hear and know that everyone right now is just trying to figure out what to do next. And get through today. So that to me means I need to pivot. I need to understand what your needs are and help bring some solutions. That's all I want to do. I
Mm,
love my community. I think we all are going to be better for it when we get on the other side, and we need to prepare now for that.
Awesome. And
and
that's retaining our communities, staying in our communities, and
Yes,
prospering in our communities. So do not hesitate to be a well-informed homeowner, to be a well-informed renter, to be a well-informed community resident. Just what is available out there for me? What can I collaborate with anybody to do in order to prosper? Because I like to call it Earth 2. It is not going to be the same, it's going to be better. And
yes,
it's up to us to provide the resources, the information, and the passions in order to make sure that this happens.
yeah. So fair.
man, you ladies have definitely asked. Kim, what is your website? What's your website, Kim?
I did post it. It is
Oh, got it.
www.cp2re.com. Very short and simple.
Yep,
And go to the
yep,
contact
we got it.
anything that I can help with anything, information. I'll direct you over to Mary.
I'll direct you back to her when we're done with you.
Yeah, I love
when
it.
we got
Oh
you,
my
when we
goodness.
got you well informed.
Yes.
Exactly. Love
I
it.
just want to thank you, ladies, so very much.
Oh,
Um,
it's an honor.
thank you for the information. Um, Thank you. I look forward to collaborating with you ladies. We have to give a shout out once again to the founder and CEO, Mr. Don Doty, for this platform. If you don't know anything about this organization, it is a phenomenal organization. Been serving the Chicago community for a very, very long time. There is a great history and legacy behind this organization. So please go check them out at georgiadotyhelp.org. Tell them that Yolanda sent you. Make sure you do that. So I want to share two events that are happening this weekend. One event is a school supply giveaway that is being hosted by the Sisters of Substance. It is on August 29th at South Shore Community. I'll make sure I post it on my Facebook page, but they are giving away school supplies and backpacks and still accepting any donations that you have. Also, if you want to connect with Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, the CEO and founder Don Doty himself will be on 63rd and Halsted this Saturday. Commissioner Deere is hosting in collaboration with Aunt Martha's Health and Wellness. They are hosting a community event, a safe social distancing event. Many of the aldermen will be there. They'll be giving away free masks, hand sanitizer, um, talking about the 2020 census, and there'll be tons of resources, food, giveaways, and a whole lot of fun. Um, Look for Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization. They will be there. Make sure you introduce yourselves to them. Get out. There are two things happening this weekend. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in, for viewing. I hope that this show has been informative. Not just informative. We want to be encouraging. We want to be empowering. We want to promote healthy individually, health in our mind, physically, and absolutely health throughout, healthier, living healthier within our community. My name is Yolanda Givens, and I am your host. You can look for me on Facebook, Yolanda Givens. Find me on Instagram. Um, Reach out to me. My email address is yagivens@gmail.com. If it's something that you missed, information that you want, if you want to be connected, volunteer, give back, make a donation to the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, reach out to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the end of our show. Again, shout out to our CEO and founder, Mr. Don Doty, who have a phenomenal board of directors, and definitely a shout out to the executive producer of this show, Rochester Bailey of Diggler Inc. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I will see you next time. I am tuning out. Peace.